Good afternoon, everybody. Damp Sam here, the original creator for anything damp. Right, so today's film, video, whatever you want to call it, is about moisture meters. Before you turn off, just hang on. I bought some gear yesterday, so I was buying some stuff off Safeguard, and I've seen on some social media platforms that they've used some influencers to try and sell DryZone moisture meters, and I was interested, really interested, because it looks a nice meter, and yesterday I decided to ask how much they were. And when they told me they were 16 quid, 14 quid and plus VAT, 14 something plus VAT, it made me even more interested, because that is a good price. Compared with moisture meters, that is a very, very good price. First moisture meter I ever bought were, I think that were around about that price point, 10 quid or whatever. I've still got it, it's in drawer. In fact, I'm gonna get it out. Just bear with me a second and I'll put it on. I should have thought of that, shouldn't I, before I started the video. Anyway, I'm back. So, first ever moisture meter I bought was that. It's called a damp detector. High audio output, high damp, it says on it. So look at that. It's not even got a screen on it. And all it kind of did, there's no battery on it, but basically when you pressed it, it tells you on the, you had to listen to, it gives you like an audio thing, a sound waves. And that kind of was, higher pitch it was, wetter it was. So, yeah, I know. So that was first ever meter I bought. Fuck, I'm just trying to think how many years ago it was. 25 years ago. Before I even knew out about this industry. I just thought I needed a meter. Didn't know how it worked. Like most people that's out there now. Not most. I mean, a lot of people that's out there now who are classing themselves as damp companies and damp experts. What we say is, with these things, you've got to know how to interpret the readings that you get from them. So that was first meter, and it didn't last very long. I think I bought it from B&Q or something like that, or Wix's or something like that. And I didn't look, it were in plastic packaging. I thought it had a screen. So not long after that, I bought another one, which were a bit more expensive. I think I paid 40 something pound for it, which had a screen on it. And then I kind of progressed as I started doing my surveying, and were able to interpret the readings. So I asked them how much it was, 16 quid, and they said, we'll send you one out. And they knock at the door, they sent me one, it's come, and I'm excited. And I want to say it's an unboxing, but it ain't, because I wanted to have a quick look at it first. I wanted to make sure it had batteries in for a start, which it don't come with batteries. So I've put some batteries in, and I just wanted to have a quick look through it, but I'm gonna show you what you get once you open it. And I am buzzing a bit because I'm quite impressed. I'm really impressed. And I've got my other meters here, and I'm going to tell you how much they were to buy. And when you consider, I mean, I bought the top meter that were about, sort of, when I passed my surveying exams, I went dove straight in at deep end. I think I paid 900 and something pound for all singing, all dancing Protimeter, and I am ready for a new one. But I've been on courses and things, and there's only a certain amount of kit that you need. And when you listen to people that are teaching you, and then, you know, one of lecturers that we had, he made a statement and he said, you know, I've got expensive moisture meters, but if you can understand and interpret the readings, you don't need mega expensive ones. You just need a cheap one. And it were right. So I ended up buying a cheaper meter. It is still a Protimeter, which is like sort of one of biggest makes. There's them and Fleur, and I do use the one with prongs a lot, but I also use other Protimeter basically because I can get me hygrometer readings and surface temperature readings, just things like, well, I've actually got a surface temperature gun, but I can get all my readings I need to work out if condensation's forming and things like that on a condensation survey. We've got other stuff as well, but to get my readings, that's all I needed. But I was interested in this DryZone meter. One of the things I'm interested in it is because DryZone broke the mold when it came to our industry, and DryZone were the reason why I went headfirst into industry. And I think I've spoke about this before, that when I was doing bits in preservation industry, rendering up after people had been done drilling, injecting builders and things like that, and other companies, and kind of were learning things and got interested through that route. But I was never interested in doing drilling and injecting because it was high pressure. And for simple reason, it was silicon, it stunk, it went all over if there were a crack in brick, it was messy, high pressure system, it just didn't appeal to me. And then as soon as I saw DryZone cream, there was a light bulb moment, and it changed this industry for a lot of people because it was so easy to install, and that's what took me on my journey. So when they said that they'd done a DryZone moisture meter, and I saw it, and it looked good. There were I think a guy on Instagram were doing it, and a guy on, I think I saw somebody on YouTube. I've even seen some like birds with one, some lasses with one, doing something with one. I don't know whether they're supposed to be DIYers or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not saying they ain't no women surveyors, but what I'm saying is I've seen advert in it. It was as if they were renovating a property and then using it. They weren't like doing it as if they were surveyors. So I'm gonna flip camera of it, and I'm gonna show you it box and then unboxing it. And like I said, I don't know whether it's because it's that orangey colour. We've got that in our logos and our brand. We've got that orange, black and white, and DryZone's got them colours. And it weren't a conscious thing that we did that. I had it done at a proper digital marketing guy. He came up with brand Mark Radford, and he'd never seen DryZone. It just happened that he did it in these colours, which DryZone's got on their packaging, so it's same colours. So I just saw it visually and I went, that's lovely. I like that meter. So I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to be doing some talking, and I'm just going to pop my head up just to see whether you can see it. Right, it's in the middle. I think I need to have it that way, don't I? Right, so packaging. Packaging's nice. It's simple. It's a brown box, but it's got all nice lettering. Schultz meter. It's in like a kind of folded box like they do with iPhones and things. It's not as smooth as in iPhone packaging, but it just is nice. It's neat. It's tidy. all these these folded things on here. I'm gonna have to do it this way because so it tells you some information up front. Detects wood moisture from 6 to 60%. 8 calibration settings, A to H for different types of wood. And when I show you what types of wood it is, it's mind blowing. Masonry, use on plaster render masonry to build moisture profiles and help diagnose damp problems. There's people out there that say you can't get moistures out of damp, but it's about interpreting readings, as you'll see in a bit. There's a QR code, so you can press that. Yeah, for information about damp and decay in buildings, visit. So that's Safeguard's site. So Safeguard's technical people, they've got loads of drawings and everything, loads of information about all products that they do and how they affect damp and the preservation industry and stuff. Brilliant site to go on. So they've got it on both sides, moisture meter on back, and then QR code, and then address and phone numbers on back. So you can even phone them up, and they've got like a technical department as well. So when you open it up, you've got this stuff here, which is brilliant for I've just been doing a few pops, just stress relief. So if you're a bit stressed up because you've got your new meter, just have a few pops, and then you open your meter, and that's what you get. And then you've got these, like a simple sheet of instructions. Now, what I'll say is, when I bought my other meters, you get absolutely tons of literature and stuff like that, and it's a bit overwhelming. You don't know where to start. But with this, first thing I wanted to do was stick some batteries in. So went to Kids Draw, got some batteries out, and unlike my other meters, that has got a screw in it. You can't just flick that off. That's got a screw in it, and I'll show you that later on. But this has got a lovely action. It sits in there. Just pull it back, and then you've got your batteries in there. Why they can't have that on there, I don't know. Because whenever I come to change battery, I've never got a screwdriver that's that small. Lovely colours. Got DryZone written on it. DryZone here. DryZone system. Moisture meter does what it says. And you've got these here. So I'll turn it on. So when you turn it on, straight away, one thing that's not on other meters, I've got it on my Protimeter. If I click it onto a certain setting, temperature. So straight away, 21 degrees, 21.2 degrees there. That's brilliant. So you've got that on main screen. Across top there, that's your scale. So if I just have a look, it goes 0 to 40%. So I suppose that might be a letdown. So it's 0 to 40%. And I think on others it goes up to 100%. And BLDG, that's for brick. That's for brick and other backgrounds, plaster. It's because I've already read them and just gone through it. And to change that, you just press mode. So then it's changed to wood. Now wood goes up to 60%. But to be fair, what we're looking for is out of a 20%. And I think this is probably where your price comes in, because all other ones have got every single scale on. So there you've got to guess between 0 and 12, 12 to 24, 24, 36, 36 to 48, and then to 60. It goes up in 12s. But for a decent surveyor, it won't really matter. It matters if you're wanting to actually put the measurements down, but I've stopped doing that. I've stopped putting measurements down. There's no point. It's either wet or it's in, and then you can explain why and what's wrong with, you know, what's wrong with, what type of damp it is. Once you know what type of damp it is, then you can diagnose a system of repair in conjunction with that type of damp. So as a basic tool, I'm loving it already. So to get top off, you squeeze them together and pull. Now, I struggled earlier on. That's the only thing that... supposed to squeeze them together and pull, but it's just a bit... a kid won't be able to get that off. I mean, I have a rake grip. Well, that's it. I had it off early on. So rather than squeezing them two, I've had to squeeze it on side and pull it that way. So that might need a bit of work on it. So your prongs come protected. I suppose that's for if kids get hold of it. Just take them off, put them on there, and that's it. So then, if you want to test your wood or whatever, there you go in, and it's working already. So that's cardboard. Cardboard's kind of wood in it. 12.3%. All right. So I'd not known this. So your scale on top, it's showing you where it goes to, but you're getting a digital readout as well that telling you exactly what it is. That's brilliant. 12.9. So what we're looking for with wood, if we're putting that into a piece of wood, I want it under 20%. 20% is the point at which we regard as when timber is at risk of wood boring, insect and decay, if it's prolonged. So then as it starts going up, you get to 30% and it's at risk of dry rot. So that's your wood one. And then on your brick one, if you're putting it onto brick, stick it on here because you're still going to get a reading, even though it's brick. And this is how you interpret readings. So when you put it onto your brick, you're looking at your readings. So that says 10. You're still looking at that 20% mark. And this is what we're looking for. So if it's over 20, it's wet. And what we say is, it's when it comes up on these moisture meters, it says wood moisture equivalent. So I'd say that's what it could probably do with having wood moisture equivalent put on. So on timber it says wood moisture content, or should do. It just says timber on here. I suppose that's for DIYers to understand. And then for masonry it says that, but it should say wood moisture equivalent rather than wood moisture content. So that's what you've got on here. You can change the Celsius to Fahrenheit if you're American and you want to see it in Fahrenheit. It's a simple click back. And if you want to do, so if you want to catch a reading, get it onto there and then press hold and it'll hold your reading. And you can hear it. So when it's wet, take that off. So my hands are a bit sweaty, obviously, because I'm a bit nervous doing my films. So this seems to go off once it gets over 20. So that's 24. I'll take this off. Oh, I'll put it on hold, hang on. Right, so turn it off. Turn it off, put my prongs protectors back on. I'll stick it here. Put lid back on. I think more and more you take it on and off that, I think easier it'll go on and off. So this is what I was impressed about. So you get this DryZone moisture meter, you get these instructions, and straight away when I opened them up, you've got this what's easy to explain, all functions on it. Tells you batteries, how to open it, and it tells you how to remove cap, which is a bit stiff. Operating instructions, then it explains about wooden. So it's build. See, that's got a. This is what I don't like. It's got an abbreviation, but it doesn't tell you what abbreviation stands for. It just says building materials, masonry, moisture measurement mode. So what does BLDG? I suppose I could work it out, but it don't tell you anywhere. It ought to tell you somewhere, then at least you've got that in your head when you see BL whatever. So I suppose that's a bit of a downer. But if you just think of brick when you see that B, and then you have to try and guess other ones. But this is what caught my eye. It says measuring moisture in masonry. It explains about not being able to actually accurately measure a percentage of water in masonry, plaster, things like that. And it's, like I said, it's an equivalent. But then it tells you patterns of dampness, which is what, when I was at college, these are what we learnt. Over and over again. So it'll tell you, only thing it doesn't tell you is what type of damp it is. So high readings at the base followed by a slight dip, then increased, typical partially controlled rising damp. So that's saying controlled rising damp, that's typical of rising damp. So this, I think when it says controlled, I think it's had a procedure done on it. Typical wall floor junction problem. I think that's talking about a bridging issue. Typical failed damp proofing. Typical condensation or high humidity. I think as far as DIY people, these are just going to go over their heads, especially with these. Yeah, so for us it's alright. They're saying common moisture profiles, but I think you probably need a bit more information, not just about the profile, but about, you know, what's happening, materials and things like that. But it is good, and it tells you about measuring moisture in wood here. And there's a calibration thing on it. So if you see them two prongs at the back there, there's just there, two little prongs. When you take this off, in fact, I'll do it now. So when you take this off, I'll get it off quick then. To calibrate it, apparently, put that on, and then these go into here. And it says on thing, so that's 18.5. So it says the display should indicate between 16 to 20. Yeah. So that will between 16 and 20. So it's working okay. That's the wrong way, isn't it? Must be a wrong way and a right way, so that must always have to cut it back. And then tells you a bit about maintenance, about locking and holding, and if it's inactive for a bit, it'll turn itself off, and when battery's low, icon will appear. So that's brilliant. This is what I was a bit shocked about. All these species of wood. So you've got like A to H on bottom scale. I think it's H. And if you know your woods, so if you know what type of wood you're going to be putting it, so if you see a banga wanga tree, you've got to identify it first, and then you've got to put your moisture meter in, but set it to A, because if you set it to D, it might be a bin vang tree. Yeah, so if you know your banga wanga from your bing vang, then I think you're halfway there. I mean, there's some belting names for trees here that I've never heard of. Ramin. Ramin! Ramin, that's an F. What else we got? Seeple. Totara. I've heard of teak. A wando, your wando tree. How do you pronounce that? P-Y-I-N-K-A-D-O. Pin. That's like a double I, innit? You've got a Y and an I. Y-I. It's a Geordie tree. Pianco. Some belters on here. So so I'll show you these ones. So, right, I'll compare them with these. So this is me Protimeter. It's my Protimeter Digital Mini. I got this off eBay, off a guy. It was brand new. He said some hammer off me, but it was brand new. If you look at all them dials on there, see, I think that I'm wondering whether there's something up with this, because as much as I press that, it don't even change. But I think they make these with same screen as other Protimeters that are a bit more singing and dancing. So when I use this, all I get is wood moisture equivalent on there. So I can put it in and it's just all about 20%. All I wanted was something that were robust. So again, 26%. You've got this red to green, and then you've got your noise as well. But this is basic. It's a Protimeter, and you can plug. I've got a thing what plugs into here. You can download data, but also there's a thing you can use for like a it's got like it sends a radio wave through the wall, so it takes a reading through the wall up to a certain depth. I think you plug it into there. It's in a bag somewhere. You get it in a bag. This. These are like £300 or £400. I think how did I pay for it? A couple of hundred. Mega expensive. So £14. Couple of 300 or whatever quid. And then you've got this, which old Protimeter, old moisture meter 2 or whatever they called it. This top one that you could get at the time. It's old as hills, so it comes with that. So that plugs into the air. So them are your prongs. They've changed it now, so it's just 1 meter now with prongs on top. But this came with that, so you can plug them in there and then just stick them into different types of wood and get to inaccessible areas, which is good. And then these have got all different settings, and it's got a hygrometer, so hygrometer goes in, and this is what I use this mainly for. So I've got RH and things like that, relative humidity, air temperature, dew point temperature. So we've got all these hygrometer. So this is your mega expensive one, very expensive. 14 quid for that. So if you can interpret readings, I don't think that's bad. That's bad value. So you interpret your readings and you can write them down. You'll be able to tell what type of damp it is if you know what you're on with that. For 14 quid, 16 quid or whatever, if you're a DIY person, might be worth having. But I don't know, this is a problem with having a DIY person having it, or even a builder or things like that. The issue is, you're going to put it in, and if it goes off, you know it's wet, but you don't know why it's wet, and you don't know what type of damp it is. And one of the things is, because it's a capacity meter, so you've got 2 prongs, if you put it on a surface what's wet, and them 2 prongs hit some moisture, it just goes off. So condensation, it's going to go through the roof, because condensation is moisture on surface at wall. And then this is what problem we get in our industry. So people put it on wall, hit some condensation, and then tell the homeowner, yeah, it's got to be knocked off 1.2 meters, you've got rising damp, and it isn't. So it's misdiagnosis, and that's the main issue with our industry. But if you're in market for one of these and you want a cheap one, and you want it to say DryZone on it, have a look on, I think they sell them on Amazon. So Safeguard Europe, I think that they've played a blinder with this. I'm going to be using it on some of my surveys, definitely. I mean, I'll have to get one of them for about £1,000, because I'm in market for a new one. If anybody from Protimeter out there who wants to send me one, or Flare, because I've heard Flare's not bad, send them over, damp Sam, and I'll review it and use it. But can't believe Safeguard didn't give me this for free. Tight Harry's, 14 quid meter, amount of money that we spend in advertising our game, and they ain't done this. So anyway, get your meters from Safeguard. Very impressed with it. Very impressed with all information that they've given. They obviously, because of the industry and met things for our industry, they know what's needed in box. There were just a few things, that's all, about different things that's been in video. Hopefully they'll take notice, and then on Mark 2, it'll be all put right. But I think I'm going to get an 8 out of 10 for that. 8 out of 10. So damp Sam's. See, Protimeter liked it. You like that, didn't you? Yes, yes I did. It's made a little noise, didn't it? See you on the next video. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I'll tell you what. So before I go, while I'm here, while I've got your attention, if you want to go on our Facebook group, Why's My Property Got Damp Sam, you can upload your photos, send them to us and videos, and we'll point you in the right direction. If you don't know what issues you've got in your property, you've got some damp, and you're just a bit puzzled and you don't want to pay for a survey yet, we'll point you in the right direction. Go on to there. It's a big community, and there'll be somebody on there that can kind of talk to you. Don't expect it to be a diagnostic and a system. You have to pay for them, but in first instance, go on there, put your photos on, a description, why you're puzzled about it or whatever, and then somebody will point you in the right direction and tell you what to do, tell you what they think it might be. So that's Damp Sam. Why's My Property Damp Sam. If you want to see videos, I've done over 900 videos on YouTube, different types of damp, some reaction videos that are funny. So if you want to go on there, search for Damp Sam and just see what's on there. And if you're in Barnsley area, if you're lucky enough to be in Barnsley area, you could get me to do your surveys and your work if I choose to take your job on, because I only take one job a week on. So get in touch. And I've got a new email. I've got a new website. It's going to be dampsam.com. I don't know if it's up and running yet, but how easy is that to remember? Dampsam.com. There you go. But if not, just if you want to get in touch with me, it's dampsam at thedampshow.co.uk. That's just took another 5 minutes, isn't it? See you next time. Bye-bye now.